but I wanted to present someone today who will give us her story. Brandy Melissa is here from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where she's been an advocate on a variety of issues. Here to share her story tonight is Brandy Melissa.
Like I told y'all Sunday night, I think the one, because you can tell I'm looking like a lobster. I came here looking like a shrimp, but now I look like a lobster. I also joked that I brought the humidity up here. When I'm home, I never get sunburned. Before I left, we hit 105 heat index. Um, I'm gonna go way, way, way back to fifth grade. I'm about to be 41, so I know some of y'all think I'm in my 20s. I love you. Um, Back when I was in fifth grade, when Antonio James was executed in Louisiana, is when I started keeping up with Sister Helen. Unfortunately, before that, I became someone who was a staunch supporter of capital punishment because there is currently somebody on death row who killed the police officer who the morning of Hurricane Andrew literally risked her life to save mine. And from the time I heard my mom have a blood curdling scream in our 3-bedroom apartment the night that Corporal Smothers was killed, um, I ran in the living room thinking my dad had broken because we had relocated to Baton Rouge from Acadiana because of domestic violence. I watched him strangle her in front of me when I was 6, and she had to be resuscitated twice. Anyway, and I asked her what happened. And she said the cop that saved your life the morning of the hurricane was killed. And I said, can they please try to do the deal? Because this woman literally, we had parked because we were going volunteer for the Red Cross at the shelter. They had one of the Citroflex was used as a shelter, and we were going volunteer. And Corporal Mother was standing against the building, and I was small, 8 years old. And she obviously thought I was about to fly over, so she ran when the wind and rain was crazy and grabbed me and told my mom to meet us in the building. So at that point, I was totally, I didn't care how they killed him. I wanted them dead. I would kill them myself. Um, then I've had a few other encounters with the South Louisiana serial killer who ended up dying of a heart attack and a few other things. But what changed me is when our new governor, who claims to be a pro-life Christian supporter of Israel, defender of the Ten Commandments in court. I mean, they've been here about that, all that crap. Um, he decided when Alabama gassed Kenny to death that in our special session on crime the next month that they would add it to the execution methods and say haven't executed anybody in 15 years. And actually the last state section execution in Louisiana before March 18th of this year was 2002. The one they did 15 years ago, the guy was tired of waiting. So that's how that happened. But when Kenny got executed, I had a media friend who works for one of the affiliates who now lives in another state around here asked me if I heard any news about it, and I came across the press conference that they were doing for Jeff was doing with eight on Eight's channel. And so I sent it to her. I said, I don't know what side of the fence this is on, but it looks like it's on decent. And so here you go. Because they wasn't, I could tell that nothing that happened was being sugarcoated like they normally do. Before Jeff Landry took office, I was literally during the clemency hearings texting his staff to deny all of them hearings. Don't even give them, let them do what they do. But that was before gas became an issue. And when that became an issue because of what happened in the darkest part of history. I could not. I mean, I knew Isaiah 12:3 before I knew how to spell my name, and I'm not joking. My mom did not play about that. So when they had the bill, they allowed the bill to pass that allowed gas suffocation. We actually have a senator that said it was her responsibility and her duty to pass that, to vote for that bill. But they had a bill to remove it, and I testified against it, and I had "how dare you" messages from certain people that I will not name. And I really turned it back on them because I'm like, y'all claim to be pro-life, but yet you care about somebody's uterus, but you don't care about gassing somebody to death when you have Jewish people sitting here and you're telling them, they literally told the Jewish people that it was no comparison. I sat there cringing. Um, but then I reached out to Abe and I was beside myself because, like I said, I was a hardcore supporter. But it took our governor, who being a royal hypocrite, to literally, I never thought I'd see the day where anybody would be gassed to death on American soil, much less in the most pro-life, quote unquote, state in the country. And I can say that because my mom was forced to have an abortion and I lived through it. After domestic violence didn't kill me, can't y'all tell I'm stubborn. Um, but okay, can you hear me? Um, but so I reached out to Abe and then they ended up scheduling the executions. I mean, the first person Louisiana wanted to kill was somebody who was on hospice. They couldn't even function. Then they had to, he ended up passing away on his own. And they had somebody else, but they had to, he wasn't done with his appeal. So when the one that got to go through was the one that was married to the lady that's true. That will forever be in Jeffrey Langer's history that the first person he gassed to death in that state under his administration was somebody married to a Jew. And I really had a problem with that. And once I started researching and realizing that he was Jewish and he was against it all, I had to look into seeing why. And then I seen the interview that Candace Usman did with Sister Helen about the lethal injection. And then I seen how Brad's firing squad went. That's when I just completely went. And I told Abe, I said, I'll see you in DC. So here I am. So please never think, Rob, Jeff, and everybody else that's always on the visuals thinking what y'all do doesn't impact people. Exhibit A, how are you doing? Because I was the most stubborn, hardcore, you couldn't change my mind about anything whatsoever. And just because what y'all might be wondering about why I've had that take with that suffocation sign, my state claims to be the most pro-life state. They're anti-abortion, but they'll gas somebody to death in a heartbeat, and that's hypocritical. And I have a serious problem with that. And just keep doing what you're doing because if my heart can be changed, you can get through to anybody. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, Brandy.
Mhm.
Thank you, Brandy. Sacred space, sacred stories. Sacred space, sacred stories. So I left Denver